This conference will now be recorded.
So now we are going to see about the mandibular nerve. You know, mandibular nerve is one of the three divisions of the trigeminal nerve, which is an important, it gives importance supply to the face and the related area. Okay, so it is also the largest three division of trigeminal nerve, and it is the nerve of the first branchial arch. So it consists of both sensory and motor group. That's why it is called mixed nerve. So it mainly takes sensation from the teeth and gums of the mandible and skin of the temporal region, auricle, lower lip, lower part of face, and even from anterior two-thirds of the tongue. It also gives motor supply to the muscles of the mastication. Okay. So other two divisions of trigeminal nerve, ophthalmic nerve and maxillary nerve. Okay. So if you see the origin of the mandibular nerve, so actually the trigeminal nerve, it arises mainly from the pons, and actually the spinal nucleus will be located throughout the cervical part of the spinal cord. And if you see the origin of mandibular nerve, it consists of two roots, as I said, sensory root and motor root. The sensory root is the larger root which arises from trigeminal ganglion here, and the motor root from the motor nucleus in the pons. Okay, so now if you see how the mandibular nerve is formed, actually the sensory root, actually after arising from the trigeminal ganglion, it runs forward and laterally towards the foramen ovale, which is located in the middle cranial fossa. This motor root, after arising from pons, it runs deep to the trigeminal ganglion to join with the sensory root just below the foramen ovale. So now actually both the roots enter the foramen ovale separately. Okay, after entering the infratemporal region, both the roots join to form the trunk. Okay, the formation of the trunk of the mandibular nerve takes place in the infratemporal fossa just below foramen ovale. Okay, so now we'll see the course of the mandibular nerve. So after entering the infratemporal fossa, this trunk immediately divides into anterior division and posterior division. Now we'll see what are the relations of the main trunk in the infratemporal fossa. First, orient this picture. Okay, then you can see the markings. Okay, so this is the medial view of the face. You can see the ramus of the mandible. This is the medial pterygoid muscle, and this is the lateral pterygoid plate. Okay, and you can sorry, this is the medial pterygoid plate. This is not lateral, this is medial pterygoid plate. The lateral pterygoid plate is on the lateral side. Okay, you can see the pterygoid hamulus here. So this is the foramen ovale, you can see here. Okay, and you can even see the notice this is the middle ear. You can see the middle ear cavity, and here you can see the sphenoidal air sinus. Okay, now just see, this is the medial pterygoid muscle, and here on the lateral surface of medial pterygoid plate you can see the tensor veli palatini muscle. This is the tensor veli palatini muscle. Okay, and this muscle here deep to the medial pterygoid, you can see the upper head of the lateral pterygoid muscle. Okay, now see the trigeminal ganglion and three division: ophthalmic, maxillary, and this is the mandibular division. So this gives rise to the sensory root, and you can see separately the motor root is coming from the pons, and both the root just below foramen ovale, it joins to form the main trunk. Okay, so now the main trunk, actually this otic ganglion is sandwiched to the main trunk. So it is sandwiched between these two muscles, tensor veli palatini and the main trunk. Okay. Now I think you are clear about this picture. Okay. So now we'll see the relation of the main trunk. Okay. So this part is the medial, and actually the medial, this is the medial. Okay. So medially it is related to tensor veli palatini and otic ganglion. Okay, so laterally it is related to the lateral pterygoid muscle. So you can see laterally it is related to lateral pterygoid muscle. Medially two structures, tensor veli palatini and aortic ganglion. Anteriorly, it is related to the posterior border of the medial pterygoid plate. It's not the lateral pterygoid plate, it is medial pterygoid plate. It is strongly marked here. And if you see the posterior relation, it is related to the middle meningeal artery. You can see the middle meningeal artery entering the foramen spinosa. So this forms the posterior relation of the main trunk. Okay. So now once again I am repeating. So the main trunk of the mandibular nerve is related medially to the tensor palatii and aortic ganglion, laterally to the upper head of lateral pterygoid, anteriorly to the posterior border of the medial pterygoid plate, and posteriorly to the middle meningeal artery. Okay. Now, so after this, the trunk will be a very short one. Then immediately the mandibular nerve, it divides into two division: anterior division and posterior division. Posterior division is the largest division of the mandibular nerve. Okay, so we'll see the branches from the main trunk now. Okay, so the main trunk, it gives two branches. One is the meningeal branch and other one is the nerve to medial pterygoid. Okay, so this meningeal branch is otherwise called nervus spinosus. So actually it enters into the foramen spinosum along with middle meningeal artery. It enters the middle cranial fossa and it supplies the dura mater of the middle cranial fossa. Okay, so that's why it is called meningeal branch. It supplies the dura mater of the middle cranial fossa. So it enters the middle cranial fossa through foramen spinosum. That's why it is called nervus spinosus. It is accompanied by the middle meningeal artery. Okay, in the previous picture you can see. So this is the middle meningeal artery. This is accompanied by the nervus spinosus, which is a branch from the main trunk. Okay. Then, so next branch will be the nerve to medial pterygoid. Okay, so this is the nerve to medial pterygoid. So this is not only supplies the medial pterygoid, also it supplies the tensor tympani, which is a muscle of the middle ear, and tensor veli palmei, which is a muscle of the soft palate. Okay, so in the next picture, you can see the nervus spinosus along with middle meningeal artery entering into the foramen spinosum, and you can see the nerve to medial pterygoid arising from the main trunk, mainly from the motor root. Okay, so the nervus spinosus, you can see it arises from the sensory part of the main trunk. This nerve to medial pterygoid arises from the motor root of the main trunk. Okay, so this nerve to medial pterygoid without relay in the aortic ganglion, it gives communicating branch and it supplies two muscles, tensor veli palmei and tensor tympani. Okay, so this nerve to medial pterygoid is supplied on the medial surface, not on the lateral surface. Okay, so that's all about the branches from the main trunk. Now we'll go on to the branches from the anterior division. Okay, so there are four branches from the anterior division. So all these branches actually mainly supplies the muscles of mastication except the buccal nerve. So this mesenteric nerve, deep temporal nerve, and nerve to lateral pterygoid and buccal nerve. These are the four branches of the anterior division of mandibular nerve. So out of the four, the first three, mesenteric nerve, deep temporal nerve, and lateral pterygoid, it supplies these three muscles. Okay, the buccal nerve. So even though the name is buccal, it is not supplying the buccinator muscle. Okay, it is a sensory branch. It supplies the skin of the buccal region. Okay, skin and mucus of the mucous membrane of the buccal region. Okay, so we'll go on to the next picture. So in the next picture, you can see the deep temporal nerves. You can see there are two deep temporal nerves arising from the anterior. This is the anterior division. So you can see the larger posterior division here. So the anterior division, so you can see it gives two deep temporal nerves which supplies the temporalis muscle on its deep surface. It is always accompanied by deep temporal arteries. Okay. Then next branch you can see is the nerve to lateral pterygoid. So which supplies the lateral pterygoid muscle. It is also otherwise called pterygoid branch. Okay. And the third nerve you can see here is the buccal nerve. Okay, so it is the longest branch of the anterior division of mandibular nerve. So it runs over the buccinator muscle and supplies the skin and mucous membrane of the buccal region. Okay, so I think you are clear about the buccal now, and now to lateral pterygoid and deep temporal nerve. The next nerve which is left from the anterior division is the mesenteric nerve. So you can see the mesenteric nerve. So it actually passes laterally above the lateral pterygoid muscle. You know that this is a pterygoid fovea where the lateral pterygoid muscle attached. So you can see from the anterior division, so it runs downwards and laterally above the lateral pterygoid muscle. Okay, in front of the temporomandibular joint. Then it emerges through the mandibular notch along with the mesenteric vessels and supply the masseter muscle from its deep surface. So it also supplies the temporomandibular joint. Okay, so you have to identify the mesenteric nerve in the mandibular notch. Okay, so I think you are clear about the branches of the anterior division. There are 4 branches from anterior division. So 2 deep temporal nerve, then now to lateral pterygoid, then buccal nerve and mesenteric nerve. Deep temporal nerve supplies the temporalis from its deep surface. Now to lateral pterygoid supplies lateral pterygoid. Buccal nerve, it is a sensory branch of the anterior division. Actually, it emerges between 2 heads of lateral pterygoid. It appears on the cheek and it supplies the skin and the mucous membrane of the cheek or the buccal region, but it does not supply the buccinator muscle. Mesenteric nerve supplies the masseter muscle from its deep surface. It emerges through the mandibular notch. Now I'll go on to the next division of the mandibular nerve, that is the posterior division of the mandibular. This is the largest division of the mandibular nerve. It gives 3 branches. So all these 3 branches are very important. The mandibular nerve itself is an important essay question. Out of this, all these 3 nerves will be asked separately as a 5-mark question. So you have to concentrate more on this part. Okay. So first we'll see the branches of the posterior division of mandibular. The first branch is the auriculotemporal nerve. So you can see this auriculotemporal nerve, it arises as a 2 root. That is a specialty of the auriculotemporal nerve. So the next branch is the lingual nerve. So lingual means tongue. It means it supplies tongue. Okay. So the next continuation of the posterior division of mandibular nerve is the inferior alveolar. This is the largest branch of the posterior division of mandibular nerve. So this is called inferior alveolar nerve. So this auriculotemporal nerve and lingual nerve is purely sensory. But if you see the inferior alveolar nerve, this is a mixer nerve. That means it takes sensation from the lower part of the mandible, and it also supplies the mylohyoid muscle and the anterior media of digastric. So this inferior alveolar, it gives a small branch that is called mylohyoid. I think now you are clear about the branches. We will see in detail about the each branches. Okay, so just see in this picture once again orient. So this is the anterior division and this is the posterior division. You can see the auriculotemporal nerve arises as a 2 roots. Okay, and you can see the inferior alveolar nerve and this is the lingual nerve. Inferior alveolar nerve gives a small motor branch. That branch is called as the mylohyoid nerve. Okay, so we'll go on to the next nerve, that is the auriculotemporal nerve. Okay, so auriculotemporal nerve, actually I said previously it arises by 2 roots and it encircles the middle meningeal artery. Okay, after that the 2 roots unite and form a single trunk, and it goes actually under cover of the lateral pterygoid muscle behind the neck of the mandible. That is between the neck of the mandible and sphenomandibular ligament. You can see the auriculotemporal nerve. Okay, and it lies above the first part of the maxillary artery. So these are the landmarks and relations. How will you identify the auriculotemporal nerve? Means you have to see the 2 roots. In between the 2 roots, you have to look after the middle meningeal artery. Okay, so these 2 roots, they join posteriorly. Okay, and form a single trunk, and the single trunk lies deep to the lateral pterygoid, that is above the lateral pterygoid between neck of mandible and sphenomandibular ligament. Okay, then it also lies above the first part of the maxillary artery here. Okay, then this nerve turns laterally behind the temporomandibular joint. So here it is related to the parotid gland. Okay, then finally it ascends behind the superficial temporal vessel. Actually, in front of the auriculotemporal nerve, you have the superficial temporal vessel. So it crosses the posterior root of the zygoma. It enters the temple and divides into superior superficial temporal branches. I think now you are clear about the course. So two things you have to remember. It arises with two roots. Encloses middle meningeal artery, lies between neck of mandible and sphenomandibular ligament, lies above the first part of the maxillary artery. Then it goes behind the temporomandibular joint, crosses the posterior root of zygoma, so it enters the temple. Okay, so here it divides into superficial temporal branches. Okay, I think now you're clear about the auriculotemporal now, a course and relation. So next we'll see about the branches of the auriculotemporal now. So it gives 4 branches. So what are the 4 branches? It gives auricular branches. That means auricular branches means mainly it supplies the auricle. So auricle means which part of the auricle? Skin of the tragus and adjoining part, and it also supplies the anterior wall of the external acoustic meatus and the tympanic membrane, external part of the tympanic membrane. So auricular branch, in short, it supplies the auricle, okay, and the cuticular part of, that is external part of the tympanic membrane. Okay, the next branch it gives in this temporal region is the superficial temporal branches. Mainly it supplies the skin of the temple. Okay, so no other specific supply here. The next come to the articular branches. The name itself, articular means joint. It supplies with joint, temporomandibular joint. Okay, so these are the main 3 important branches. So the next other important branch is the, actually it gives secretomotor fibers to the parotid gland. Okay, so it actually receive communicating branch from the aortic ganglion and convey postganglionic nerve fibers through auriculotemporal nerve to the parotid gland. So you can see this is the aortic ganglion communication. So you can see here the foramen ovale. So with the mandibular nerve and the you can see the preganglionic fibers are coming from the lesser petrosal nerve. So which in turn a branch of the glossopharyngeal nerve, which is the 9th cranial nerve. Okay, so this preganglionic fibers, they end in the aortic ganglion. So now the postganglionic fibers arise from the ganglion and through auriculotemporal nerve it supplies the parotid gland. That means it gives secretomotor fibers to the parotid gland. So I think now you are clear about the auriculotemporal nerve. Okay, so I'll continue with the next nerve. So the next largest nerve and the continuation of the posterior division of mandibular nerve is the inferior alveolar. This is also otherwise called dental nerve because it mainly supplies the mandible, that is the lower jaw. Okay, so it conveys both sensory and motor fibers. It also emerges under cover of the lateral pterygoid muscle here. So this is a lateral pterygoid is removed here. Okay, then it passes downward, forward between the ramus of the mandible and the sphenomandibular ligament, and it enters the mandibular foramen. Okay, which is accompanied by inferior alveolar vessels. Okay, so within the mandible, the nerve run in a bony tunnel. So below the teeth, and finally it divides into 2 branch. One is the incisive branch, and other one will be the mental branch. Okay. So once again, I'm repeating the course. So it is the largest division of the posterior division of mandibular nerve. Okay, so it emerges under cover of the lateral pterygoid muscle. It runs downward, forward between the ramus and the sphenomandibular ligament. It enters the mandibular foramen. Then it runs in a bony canal in the mandible just below the teeth. Then actually on reaching below the teeth, it divides into two branches, incisive branch and mental branch. The mental branch will emerge out through the mental foramen. Okay, and it supplies the skin of the chin. Okay. So before it enters the mandibular foramen, it gives a branch. That branch is called nerve to mylohyoid. This is the motor branch of the inferior alveolar nerve. Okay. So now we'll go on to the next to the branches. What are the branches, other branches it gives? So I already said before entering into the mandibular foramen, it gives nerve to mylohyoid. So which runs in the mylohyoid groove of the mandible and supplies the mylohyoid muscle and anterior belly of digastric. So this actually, you know, the mandibular nerve is the nerve of the first arch. So this the muscles whichever supplied by the mandibular nerve are derivatives of the first arch. Okay, so the mylohyoid muscle and anterior belly of digastric are also derivatives of the first arch. Okay. So next branches are the dental branches. So it supplies the molar teeth and premolar teeth and adjoining gum also. Here it joined with the other dental branches and forms the inferior dental plexus. You can see in the next picture, you can see the inferior dental plexus here. Then it gives an incisive nerve in the bony tunnel itself, and it supplies the incisor teeth and canine teeth and an adjoining gum here. Then it actually, the other branch it gives is the mental nerve, so which emerge upward and laterally from the mental foramen and supplies the skin of the chin and the lower lip. Okay, I think you're clear about the inferior alveolar nerve. Actually, in the previous picture, you can see this is the inferior alveolar nerve, this is the lingual nerve. So there will be always some communicating branch will be there between this two nerve. This is the other branch of the inferior nerve. So totally 4 branches from inferior alveolar nerve. One is the nerve to mylohyoid, which is purely motor, supplies mylohyoid muscle and anterior belly of digastric, and 3 sensory branches: dental branch, mental nerve, and incisive branch. Okay. So next we'll go on to the lingual nerve, which is very important now. Okay. So the lingual nerve actually it lies in front of the inferior alveolar nerve. This is the inferior alveolar nerve. So it lies in front of the inferior alveolar nerve. You can see. So mainly it gives sensation to the mucous membrane of the anterior 2/3 of the tongue, except valent papillae. Okay, that means it carries sensation. So that's why it is called lingual nerve. If you see, this is the lingual nerve here. Okay, so now actually it arises from the posterior division in front of the inferior alveolar nerve. Okay, and actually it runs between the lateral pterygoid muscle and tensor veli palmate. See here, this is the tensor veli palmate. The lateral pterygoid muscle will be here. Okay, so it runs between this two muscle. Then it receives cauda tympani now from behind at an acute angle. Then it emerges from the lower border of the lateral pterygoid muscle and it passes downward forward between the ramus of the mandible and the medial pterygoid. This muscle is the medial pterygoid. Okay. So once again repeating. So it arises from posterior division in front of the inferior alveolar nerve. Here it runs between the lateral pterygoid and tensor veli palmate. Then it is joined by cauda tympani nerve at an acute angle. Okay. Then it runs between the medial pterygoid muscle and the ramus of the mandible. Then if you see the course, it then comes in direct contact with the mandible medial to the 3rd molar teeth. You can see this is the 3rd molar teeth. So here it comes in direct contact with the medial to the 3rd molar teeth in the mandible. Here it intervenes between the origins of the superior constrictor muscle and the mylohyoid muscle. See, this is the superior constrictor muscle which arises from pterygomandibular raphe. And you can see the mylohyoid muscle which arises from the mylohyoid line of the mandible. So now it runs between these two muscles. Okay, superior constrictor and mylohyoid muscle. Okay, here actually in between these two muscles, in this area it is covered only by the mucous membrane of the from, and it can be palpable against the mandible about 1 centimeter below and behind the molar tip. That is the important landmark for the lingual nerve. So where the anesthetist usually they will anesthetize the lingual nerve here, and while removing the third molar teeth, they should be very careful. They should not injure the lingual nerve. Okay, so after that, what happened? So you can see this is lateral view. Okay, first understand the picture, then I'll tell about the further course of the lingual nerve. This is a submandibular region. Okay, this is a submandibular region. This is the tongue. You can see the styloid process. So this is a styloglossus muscle, and this is a stylohyoid ligament, and this is the lingual nerve. You can see the lingual nerve. Okay, and the lingual nerve is suspended in the submandibular region by two roots with the submandibular ganglion, and this is the submandibular gland. You can see the submandibular duct here. Okay, and here this muscle is the hyoglossus muscle, and this is the hypoglossal nerve, and this muscle is the genioglossus muscle. Okay, which is the muscle of the tongue. Okay, now what is the course of the lingual nerve in the submandibular region? Okay, so it enters the submandibular region superficial to the hyoglossus muscle. So superficial to hyoglossus muscle, it is suspended by two roots and it is connected to the submandibular ganglion here. Then after that, this lingual nerve, it enters the tongue by winding around the submandibular duct. Okay, then it goes to the tongue and it carries sensation from the anterior two-third of the tongue. Now see this picture and just see the course. Okay, so this is the third molar teeth. Okay, and you can see the lingual nerve here. So this muscle is the mylohyoid muscle, and this gland is the submandibular gland. Okay, and this is the sublingual gland. Okay, and you can see the lingual nerve is crossing the submandibular duct here. Okay, so you can see in this picture also the inferior view of the suprahyoid part. So you can see the mylohyoid muscle here, and this is the lingual nerve. Okay, so now you are clear about the lingual nerve course. Okay, so what are the things you have to remember? So the lingual nerve actually it is joined by the chorda tympani from behind at an acute angle. Then actually behind the third molar tip, this is only covered by the mucous membrane, so you can palpate the lingual nerve here. Then it crosses the submandibular duct and enter the tongue. Okay, so now we'll see about the branches of the lingual nerve and its distribution. Okay, so as I already said in the course, that it is joined by the chorda tympani, which is a branch of the facial nerve. So actually it communicates with the chorda tympani nerve, and through this it communicates with the submandibular ganglion on the hyoglossus muscle by two roots. So it carries preganglionic secretomotor fibers to submandibular salivary gland and also to the sublingual salivary gland. Okay, so it supplies both submandibular and sublingual salivary gland, and through this it carries taste sensation from the anterior two-third of the tongue in front of lingual papillae, and even some general sensation from the tongue also carried by the lingual nerve through chorda tympani. Okay, then if you see other branches of the lingual nerve, it provides sensory supply to the floor of the mouth and lingual surface of the gum and anterior two-third of the tongue. It also communicates with hypoglossal nerve on the hyoglossus. So through this, it conveys some proprioceptive sensation from the tongue muscle. Okay. So I think now you are clear about the lingual nerve distribution. So it mainly carries taste sensation from the anterior two-third of the tongue, except valet papillae through chorda tympani nerve, and it provides general sensation to floor of mouth, lingual surface of gum, and anterior two-third of tongue. And through communication with hypoglossal nerve, it carries proprioceptive sensation from the tongue muscle. So other than this, through chorda tympani, it gives secretomotor fibers to the submandibular salivary gland and the sublingual salivary. Okay, so that's all about the lingual nerve. usually the lingual nerve will be commonly injured. As I said previously, it is commonly injured just below the third molar teeth. So if there is any injury to the lingual nerve at this place, there will be loss of all the sensation, even the taste sensation from the anterior two-third of the tongue. Sometimes if the lingual nerve is injured close to the above the joining of the chorda tympani, the taste sensation will be spared. Okay, so this is about the applied aspect of the lingual nerve. Then next we'll go on to the other applied aspect. How will you test the motor part of the nerve? So you have to motor part of the nerve is you have to test means you have to test the muscles of nerve. So as I already said in the previous class, you have to clench your teeth and you have to test the temporalis and the masseter. And even you can you palpate with the index finger at the base of the mandible to test the medial pterygoid. And clenching the teeth, you can see the temporalis and masseter. Okay. And lateral pterygoid, you have to place your index finger against maxillary tube, that is behind the third molar teeth, and you have to palpate the lateral pterygoid muscle. Okay. So other than this, if you see other important applied aspect, actually inferior alveolar nerve block is the commonest nerve block given by the dentist to remove dental caries or any dental procedure related to the lower jaw is mainly done by giving anesthetics to the inferior alveolar nerve. So for this, lingula is the landmark for giving the inferior alveolar nerve block. Actually, in the oral cavity, there is an arch called palatoglossal arch. So lateral to the palatoglossal arch, they will put the finger and they will give injection. So that is a landmark for the inferior alveolar nerve. Okay. Then next will be since it is associated with the tongue. If in case of tongue cancer, the pain will be referred from through one of the branch of mandibular nerve to the other branches. Also, the pain from teeth is also referred to the ear and temporal because all the nerves are interconnected. Auriculotemporal nerve and lingual nerve, inferior alveolar, everything is interconnected. That's why you can feel the referred pain. If there is any infection in the teeth, you will have pain in the ear and even in the temporal region. Okay. So next important applied anatomy is the mandibular nerve block. Usually this is a tedious procedure. Usually they will inject local anesthetic 4 centimeter deep to the mandibular notch. You will have the trunk of the mandibular nerve in this place. So they will give the mandibular nerve block at this site. Okay. So that's all about the applied aspects of the mandibular nerve. So now I'm going to summarize whatever I have told so far. So this mandibular nerve is the third division of the trigeminal nerve. Okay, it is a mixed nerve. It has both motor root and the sensory root. So it enters the infratemporal fossa through foramen ovale, and both the roots unites to form the trunk here. Then it divides into two division, anterior division and posterior division. The trunk give two branch, meningeal branch, another branch is the nerve to medial pterygoid. So the anterior divisions is both, it's a mixed part. So it gives three motor nerve, deep temporal nerve, mesenteric nerve, and nerve to lateral pterygoid nerve. And the fourth one is the buccal nerve, which is purely sensory. So the posterior division gives three nerve. One is the auriculotemporal nerve, other one is the inferior alveolar nerve, and the ilium. Out of this three, inferior alveolar nerve is mixed. The remaining two are purely sensory. Okay. So with this, I'll end the class. I'll continue with the maxillary artery. So the maxillary artery tomorrow I will take because it's 7:45. Okay. So with this, I'll finish the class.